everybody. Welcome to another edition of the OptionView Essentials webcast here. Today we're going to talk about some of the probability functions in OptionView. I've taken a break from doing these Essentials for a while. We're actually coming up with a brand new schedule, adding some other individuals into the weekly webcast. So should make it a little more interesting. I know that I've given a bunch of these as some of the other product consultants have as well. And it's kind of nice to step back for a while and then come back and listen to what people are looking to get more information on. So you can always check out my YouTube channel. OptionView James is the channel there. I post all these webcasts on there, so you can scroll through and see what might be of interest to you. But I'm going to go ahead and share my desktop with you now, and we'll go ahead and jump into OptionView. I'm also going to periodically, when I'm doing this desktop sharing thing, I can't see the chat. So go ahead and ask any questions you may have as they come up there, and then I'll frequently go back and check them and answer them. But right off the bat here, we have the OptionView preliminary screen here called the quotes display. It says it right up here at the top. And you can populate this and categorize it however you want to. You can create as many tabs as you want to down here at the bottom as well, and title them however you want to. I right click on it and I can insert a new tab, and I can manage the tabs and name them, get rid of them if you want to. I'm going to work on my main tab here. And then you can also create groups. This up here it says indices. It's not really indices because it starts off with them, but then I throw symbols in there all the time. But the indices is considered a group here. This A will alphabetize everything I have in here. This trade section down here is another group. Okay, so when you're doing any type of scan, and you'll see this later when I get into survey, but basically whenever you click on all, you're asking for everything in its quotes display. You have groups, which is kind of a subcategory of your entire quotes display here, or your entire section of your tab here. And then you have the individual. So if you highlight something, then now you can analyze just using that individual underline, like we're looking at coach here. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Actually, let me tell you about this green button here. This green button will suspend the quotes. You want to make sure if you're getting real-time quotes in that this is green. Okay. So now we will go ahead and look at, let's just open up a matrix for Intel. Okay. So now I have a options chain here. Calls are on top, puts on the bottom. The arrow here represents the current at the money. Okay. And now I can go up to my probability calculator here. This is kind of what I wanted, one of the features I want to talk about. OptionView used to have this on our website for free. It's been gone for, let's say, a couple of years now, but it's a Monte Carlo based probability calculator. You can pull it up here. And because I am in Intel already, you can see it says probability calculator, and then we're looking at Intel. It's pulling in for me the current price, the current statistical volatility. Now I can go ahead and you can put how many days out in the future that you want to look at. Let's just say 15. I'm going to hit enter, and of course it's going to change the date for me automatically there. Okay, so you can put a date in, or you can put dates ahead in, and now you can set up targets if you want to yourself manually. Okay, it's looking at sigmas or standard deviations in either direction, first, second, and third, and to the upside. Okay, and let's see, the current price of 21.90 is where where it's trading right now. Let's just put in 25 for the first target, and then we'll put in, just say 35 for the second target. Okay. Now we're getting pretty far away, so you're going to see that the probability of it finishing below the first target, and we're only looking 15 days out. Okay. So it's giving us pretty good probabilities that it's going to do that. Let's put in some lower numbers here. Let's just put in 23, and then we'll put in maybe 25. Whoops, not 256. Okay. Now it's showing you, the nice thing about it is not only is it telling you, probability of finishing below or above, but it's also telling you the probability of ever touching each of these targets and also finishing in between the targets. Okay, so this is kind of neat. Now watch, these probabilities are all, of course, going to increase here as I give it more time. Let's just say I want to do 60 days out here. And of course, giving it more time, you're going to give it more of a chance to hit different targets and finish above or below them. Okay. You can also change volatility. Of course, if you're expecting a price drop right now, and you would expect if there is a big price drop, you're going to expect the volatility is going to increase as well. So you can change this as well and see how that's going to affect all the numbers as well. So there's a number of different not only can you choose the targets, you can choose the dates ahead, but you can also manipulate the volatility as well. Okay, and you can do that for any underlying that you want to. Okay, now I have, let's go to a different matrix here, something with a little bit more strikes showing. We'll go into Apple. And before I can do that, I'm going to actually check and see if there are any questions about that. Okay. Now we are looking at a larger matrix here. When you first get OptionView or you're in a trial, it's going to look like this. It's going to look, very bland white screen here. And if you click this S, which is right next to the Analyze button here, it's going to bring in shaded colors here. Now I've customized these colors. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But basically what this is doing is very similar to the probability calculator. It's showing you the first standard deviation in either direction with the first shading. And of course, it's going to get larger as you go out in time, which is why this brownish tan shaded area gets larger and larger. Second is represented by this kind of pinkish color here, and the third is going to be in the white color out there. And you'll see, as we go up here, you can see how this kind of tears up in this direction as time goes out further. A lot of people will set up trades if they're doing credit spreads or things like that, challenging things to go up 1 or 2 standard deviations, or they'll perhaps put their wings on a butterfly or their wings on a condor out, challenging things to go to a standard deviation out. That's one way to look at it. And to change those preferences on colors, you can go to File, top left of the option, you can go to Preferences, and you can go to Colors. And these are the standard deviation colors here. You can change these. You can even customize them if you want to in here. Okay, but this preferences area under File allows you to also change some of the graphic analysis if you want to look at T+ numbers or T+ dates, or you actually want to see the exact date and time. And then fonts too, if you like to see a more crisper look versus the original look that's in the quotes display. I'll show you what that looks like right now. And then of course, I like to look at larger font. I'm going to do this crispy look just to show you the difference here in the quotes display. You can see how more defined it is and finer. I usually like doing that, but when presenting, it's easier for individuals to see. Just doing a screen share to look at the more original, darker, more bold fonts there. Okay, so let's go back and do a matrix here. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, you can always, like I said, turn these on and off again if you want to. This is the S button. Okay, and now what we can do is we can also right-click on any of these column headings here. Okay, we're looking at the weekly. This 2 means there's 2 days left in the weekly. March is the monthly. There's 9 days left in that one. And then you get the next weekly out. So the March monthly, that's expiring in 9 days, is acting as the second weekly. And then you can see across the board here how I have these all going out. But what you can do now is if you right click on any of these headings, you can change them on the fly here. Okay. Right now it's highlighting what this column heading says. It's delta. What I wanted to look at is, this is a really neat column to look at. These 4 bottom parameters down here. You have probability of touching, probability of finishing in the money, the percent that the underlying has to move for that particular option to double in price, and then you have projected volatility here. Okay, we'll look at probability of finishing in the money. Okay, and that automatically changes here. Okay, if you change this Volte number here, these probability numbers are going to change as well. Kind of an added new feature that we added in here, that you can change volatility. And Volte is just kind of a word we use an OptionVue to shorten the term volatility. But basically what this is showing you the probability of it finishing in the money. Okay, so you can see, of course, you get way in the money, it's 100%. You get out of the money with 2 days left. These are the percentages. There's people out there doing condors and strategies using these types of figures. Okay, they're going to go out and look for something that's got a 5% or a 3% range, maybe an 8% range. Right around those targets, they're going out there, and that's where they're putting their wings, depending on a certain amount of time out that a contract has left in it. Okay, so this is one way to look at it: 3% chance of finishing in the money. Okay, we also have, this is kind of based on our probability calculator. Now we have a probability of ever touching it. So a little more calculations involved with this, which is why now when I selected this parameter, watch, I'll select something else. That little button goes away, probability touching button. Put it there, and it pops up there. So now you can run a probability calculator and see if this is ever going to touch this one of these particular strikes. Okay, so you got to remember, if you're going to switch to that parameter there, you have to actually go up here and then select this button. Okay, that's a pretty cool feature here, especially if maybe you're just looking to go out and sell naked out of the money and things like that. You want to look at a probability calculator of what's the your probability of the underlying getting there. Okay. Now, if you wanted to customize this, you could always come up here and do these are my 3 different default settings I have right here. I click on this number 1. This is my default. This is what I open up to all the time. I usually have a delta here. I usually don't have this probability, but so I have delta instead of that. What I could do is I could hit this M, which means memorize. Now I hit the number 1 button, and now it has memorized this as my favorite setting for my number 1 default. Okay. Now I have a second default. This is my number 2 default, and it's because I like to quickly, if I'm looking at an option that I want to put something on, I want to see the volume and the open interest. Where, what's the spread here? And I can quickly do that by setting the default up like this. So I'm showing the last, the bid, the ask, my volume, and my open interest. Okay, I really don't have a 3 set up. But I can always go get back to 1 here, and then I can always, like you said, I can change these around as I want to. Okay, change it to percent double. This is how much the underlying has to move in order for the option to double the price. But I could click M, memorize, and 3, and now I can go back to my original with the delta there. I can click on the number 3 now, and it's going to save that percent to double there. Okay. You can also, there's another way to set up the parameters like that if you want to. You can always click on the format button here, and you can set your defaults. Get the default from 2, like you remember my number 2 default had all the option specific information as far as last bid, ask, volume, open interest. I can change it that way, and then save it by clicking on 1, 2, or 3 here. Okay. Okay. I'm going to pause for a second here and go check out if there's any questions out there. There are not any questions yet. Okay. Let's see. Something Jim Graham wanted me to point out, and then I'm going to talk about the survey function here. He wanted to remind everybody that when you have OptionView, it's important to go to NetView and to have this set up. Update asset files. You want to update, not asset files, you want to update your price chart files. That's important. Update price chart files. Okay. Update all your price chart files. You want to have this do this, and do it every trading day. Maybe trade every day, in the evening after the market's closed. But it's a good thing to have this set up so that it automatically does this every day. Say at market open, wherever you're located. or just before the market opens. Anytime, just make sure that you do it once a day. It's a good idea to have this setting set up. That way, you're getting fresh data, and a lot of the calculations in OptionView are based on the price charts, and I will show you why real quick here. Let's go into a price chart. Now we're saving all this volatility data. Okay, so when I run survey, you're going to see in a second, it's coming from these percentiles. And when we're looking at percentiles, right now, based on the history that I have in this price chart, and I'll show you it's going back to 95. That doesn't really apply very much. You want to see where the options start, and you can tell that by the blue line. Blue is the implied, by the way, representing the volatility that the options are showing. And then your red here is your statistical historical volatility. So it looks like it started back in 2001 there. And so now, based on the history that I have in my price chart, we created percentiles. Statistical volatility is in the 17th percentile right now based on this price chart, and the IV is in the 13th percentile. Okay, let's go to the weekly chart. Okay, and you can see right here where we're at. Volatility has been, and IV and SV have both been relatively higher than the level that it's at right now over the course of this price chart, and that's why it's in such a low percentile range right now. Okay. Now, you could actually, and I'll show you this in a second also, let me show you this V button. Lower left-hand corner, you can click on this little V volatility button here, and it's going to show you some averages of statistical and implied volatility. And it's a kind of a good way to look at over different periods of time whether the options have been overvalued or undervalued. And when you can look at that, you can see that over a 6-year period of time, the implied volatility has been, roughly 2% higher over a 6-year period. So this would be over a 6-year average, has been overvalued by a little bit there. And it looks like it's constantly been that way, except in the last few weeks here. But over the long run, they've been overvalued, the options have. Okay, and basically what that's showing is when you're looking at the blue line over the red line. Okay, and in OptionView, to pull up those lines in the price chart up here, I'm just pressing the second button over, which represents the volatility lines here. Okay, they basically overlay a price chart. Okay, so that is where we get our history of volatility. Let's take a look at the survey function now. Okay, I clear this, and in survey, what you can do is you can pick any number of assets you want to, or you can click a number of assets, but you can also select them from a group. I've been talking to a couple of people recently, and they have a watch list, things that they like to trade. Someone might have imported some of the S&P 500, a part of that list they brought in over there. And you can import from Excel if you have a list or something that you've done a scan on and you want to pull the underlines in. You would go up to, basically I would just create a new group if I wanted to. Watch this, I hit the insert button, I hit the pound key. New list, enter, I have a new group here. Now I hit the insert button a bunch of times, and now I have a new list. Okay. Now what I would do is I would go to edit at the top here, and I would first, of course, go to Excel or wherever I'm pulling my symbols in and copy them. Right-click, copy, then paste, and boom, they'll be inputted right here. Okay. Another way to do such a list is to do it from survey. Okay. Say I wanted to create a new list in survey. I want to look at everything out there, all the stocks. You could always do indexes, everything, futures, commodities, currencies, but we're going to look at stocks right now. And I want to pull in the highest IV-SV ratio. That means I'm looking for something that's got some premium in it. And I want to rank these based on the greatest dollar volume of options traded. That way it's going to be liquid. Okay. This over here means minimum dollar volume of options traded. This is looking at yesterday and saying how many dollar volume, what's the dollar volume of options that have been trading on that have traded on this. And this is not $200, this is $200,000. That's what that means. It's in terms of thousands. Minimum price, I'm going to take that out for now. But if you only want to look at underlines that are trading at whatever price or higher, that's where you would put that in. We want a minimum history of that means we want to make sure there's options trading on these, and then we've got a price chart to pull this information from, and then percentiles. So when we're ranking these, like I showed you in the price chart before, as far as percentiles, we're going to look at 1 year back, which would be a good idea. You could look at 2, 3, 4. You could look at 6 months back by putting 0.5 in if you want to. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and run this in all the stocks right here. Go. And here it goes. It pulls up a list for me. It's pulling up 50. Okay. Now what it's looking at, it's pulling them picking them based on the highest IV/SV ratio. Okay. So it's definitely got them all. All of these have the highest IV/SV ratio. Now we've got a lot of earnings going on right now, so you'll see a lot of that popping up in here. But it's going to rank them based on how many dollar volume of options are actually traded. Okay. If you like this list or like any of this list, what you could do is you can left click it, insert it, click on that one, insert that one, or you can select a little group here by holding down the shift key, left click, highlight the first one, and the next down to BP if you want to. I can hit the insert button. Okay, I can close this, pull up my quotes display again, and here's the list I just created. I pulled over there. So you can rank these or create groups, watch lists, whatever you want to do there, based on all these parameters here. Okay, I could say I just want to find out what the greatest dollar volume of options traded. What has the most options traded out there in stocks? Now, what is that list? These are the these are the top 10, the greatest dollar volume of options traded out there today, right now. Okay, we could rank them strictly on if you want to look at undervalued. You'd be looking at SV. Lowest IV/SV ratio is what you'd look at. Okay, you're going to find undervalued there. Highest statistical volatility. These are all things, and then you can look at the percentiles specifically, where they're lowest in their percentiles over the course of the past year as well. Okay, and sometimes maybe you want to say, well, what is this really telling me? I can hit go here. It's going to pull this up for me, and I'll show you lowest current SV percentile. Let's take a look at why is Google popping up here. We'll look at a price chart, and we're looking at 1 year back. Okay, so looking at the last year, we've asked it only to look going back a year, and you can see that it's been a lot higher than it has been. Look at the percentiles that it's showing us. IV's in the 3 percentile range. SV's in the 9 percentile range. Now you can always click next, and it's going to go right down that list for us. And it's going to go right down that list for us that we have in the survey, and you can quickly browse the charts. Okay, look at where these things are, where these IV numbers are, and the SV numbers are. They're way down here at the bottom, where they've been. Not a lot of history on this one. Facebook, of course. Okay, look at this. Here's a good example, Dell. Okay, look at the percentiles. And you're going to see this a lot in common with the charts where we've been right now, just because volatility is at such a low level. But this is where we're pulling the information from. We're looking at a history of where the where the volatility has been for both underlying and the options, and it's creating a list for us based on that. These percentiles here. Okay, if I change this percentile number, it's going to change my results, because now we're going to go look further back and compile all the percentiles again, and now rank them based on a little bit longer of a period of time, or we could do 6 months. So this is something you could really use to find undervalued, overvalued options. Just kind of get an idea of where things are compared to where they've traded in their history. Now, another thing you can do also, and I was kind of alluding to this before, is let me close this and pull up my quotes display again. Let's say I just have a random list here. I'm going to left click on this. This is my random list here, and now I'm going to go back into survey. Basically, I'm just saying that I'm in this. I either want to look at this underline or I want to look at this group. Okay, so I click on my survey button again, and now I want to look at the selected assets. This would be just the one I'm highlighted on right now. This would be the group I'm in right now. And this would pull in everything in my main quotes display tab. I just want to look at this group. So I created a group. Now within that group, I can do these same scans again for maybe the highest implied volatility with the greatest dollar value of options trade up my group. And it's going to look through my group real quick and sort them for me. Okay, of course, Apple, Google. No surprise there with those. Okay. So that is survey a lot. It's kind of an often an overlooked a tool, um, but with the when you're looking at premium that's out there, there's a lot of people out there that have a nice watch list, a nice base of underlines that they have a follow the news on, get alerts on, read about, know the fundamentals, know when earnings are coming out, things like that. And they still want to find out, they're still looking for premium and don't want to have to go through each one and try to find it. This is a great way to scan real quick and say, hey, look at the percentile. This is a good opportunity to sell premium, or this one's I'm not going to get anything putting a trade on for this one. So a nice feature that, like I said again, gets overlooked often. I'm going to check questions real quick here, so bear with me a moment. Okay, I got a question from Ted here asking if there's a way to get the weeklies to go away. Because yeah, and this is something that we are working on in OptionView, just so everybody knows. I'm going to pull up my OptionView again. If you have weeklies enabled, pull my quotes display here, and you would do that. A lot of people. I got a question the other day. Someone said they've had a trial of OptionView for about a week, and they said, how come I can't backtest weeklies in OptionView? Well, OptionView does not come standard with weeklies enabled. You have to actually press a button here under View, Default Auto Strike. When you get a trial of OptionView, these are not set to large, they're set to small and moderate. I always recommend change everything to large. There's no reason not to look at a large matrix when you open it up. But over here in the bottom right hand corner, these are all never checked when you first get OptionView. You want to check them off. I like to see if something's trading weeklies when I open it right away. And they will populate immediately if you have weeklies. Now, the thing that came out recently is they are issuing weeklies for like 5 weeks out, with the monthlies included in there as one of the weeklies that would expire. So you can actually trade something that's expiring in a week every week, going out 5 weeks. So now when you have this checked off, and we'll go back into that Apple I had here. You can see that before, if I didn't have weeklies takes up my whole matrix, except finally I get out to the April contract and I'm able to see one. March 9, which is, like I said, it's taken over for a weekly right now, or can be treated as a weekly. And then now we finally get to April. Now Ted wants to do a calendar. He's got to scroll all the way out here to do one. He does something. Let's say I put a calendar on. Whatever he did, maybe in March or in April, whatever, you did something out here, and then you did a calendar here, and then you sold one out here, whatever, and then you analyzed it, and then you closed it, and depending on where you're set up, it's kind of a pain to scroll back and forth to see these things. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and delete that just to show you how you would do that. Okay. What you could do, Ted, quickly is you would go into model, not into model, I'm sorry, go into define and auto strike. Uncheck the weeklies here. You're not gonna lose any data. You can go back in here and check it back out and they'll pop right up again. Hit apply, hit OK. Weeklies are gone. You're just looking at your monthlies here. I didn't do that for everything because I still have the default. This view up here at the top left defaults anything I open, okay, to show by doing the default up here, that means any matrix you open is going to default to these settings automatically. Now, by going into the define button here, once I'm in a matrix, I'm just looking at an apple here. Okay, and you look down here, because I changed this, I am now overriding the default settings. So now going forward, I can close OptionView. Close Apple, go into Dell. Okay, close this, go back into Apple. see I still have monthlies here. Let me go into something else. I know the Qs will have some weeklies for me. Weeklies. Okay, and the Qs close, Apple, no weeklies. Okay, now I'm quickly going to define again. Click on my weeklies, not losing any data. Apply, okay, they're back. Okay, so that's how you're going to want to do that. If you're trading something where you have no interest in doing the weeklies, um, that's where you would go into there, go into define. If for some reason now OptionView automatically, I'm kind of getting off task here, but that's okay. I covered what I wanted to cover so far. But if you have your default auto strike set to large, all large, and you still come into a matrix and there's still strikes not showing up, you come way up here and maybe it just didn't give you large enough range. What OptionView does is every day you open up a matrix, it looks at where the after money is, and it creates a in the money, now the money range, and that's it. Well, it's not going to give you everything that might be trading. There's probably things trading, of course, out here farther out of the money that's not giving me strikes on. A quick way to add a couple strikes is to right click on this up arrow right here. Right click and then left click. Right click, left click. It's adding strikes for me in 5-point intervals. Okay. If you go to define again and you uncheck this auto strike enabled, that means now OptionView is saving these new strikes that you've created. It's actually going to save all the strikes that are in here right now. It's not going to go out the next day and look at where the at the money is now and create a new list for you. This is kind of nice if you have trades way out of the money and you want to make sure you come in the next day and everything is just the way you left it. Uncheck auto strike. Okay. Now that could be a pain in the neck. What if you want to go way out in the 600s? Well, you can go into the options tab here in this red section. You can scroll down to the first blank field and type in whatever you want to. I can type in 300 if I want to. They don't have to be in order at all. And I'm just typing it in, hitting the down arrow. It'll all populate in the proper way once you hit OK out of here. Okay, now I've got my extra strikes up there. Nothing trading that high. I can go down here and see the crazy low strikes I put here. Okay. Kind of a tangent there, but I get a lot of questions on that as well. Let me see. I'm going to pause for a second and see what other questions I have. One moment. Okay. I got someone asking about the VXX tools. I will, yeah, I have no problem talking about that real quick here. Someone's asking about the VXX tools. You can go to OptionView. Let me see if I can go to a OptionView page. This is the best resource for the latest information. Go to OptionView homepage right here, right above this, Mustang, take a test drive, plus new VXX trading tools and Option 7. We have a page dedicated to this system. Okay, videos, articles, Len presentations, Steve talking about it, advanced, really talking about volatility cones and things like that in here. It gets pretty advanced on how the VXX system works. But under Home at OptionView VXX tool, this is a great place to go to learn about it. It is, if you own OptionView, it's $4.99 a year to subscribe to the tools, or we do now offer, if you don't want to have OptionView, you don't want to trade options, we actually have people buying it. We're offering it for $800, and you're on an alert list and a monthly. So you are, anyways, if you have OptionView, you have a system. But if you don't, you're still on the email list and an alert list for a monthly email and alert if there's ever a crossover. So we do offer that for the system as well to people if they don't want to have OptionView. But let me show you the tools. I have a VXX tools page. I think I'm even missing a couple here, but you can trade the system using the ETNs, which is the VXX and the XIV, or you can trade it using the SVXY, the UVX. There's tons of derivatives derived off of the VIX, and you can find those in form of ETFs or ETNs. Okay, so let me switch accounts here real quick to a test account. Okay. So right now, and I've recorded this, but the way the signal is right now is we are, and this is the tools right down here. Okay, we have a, switch this right here. We have a fair value line. Okay, this is my little overlaid indicators here. This fair value line will not appear if you don't have these tools. It's only for the VXX and the XIV. It will in fact work for the ETN equivalents as well. You know, people are always asking, yeah, it's been in positive territory here since November 23rd, which is what, right in here. You know, the crossover was November 23rd, and we've been long this ever since. Okay, and you know, people are always saying, yeah, but get long. There's highs and lows and things like that, and that's the biggest question. When do I get in? How long should I wait? Well, the returns ever since this crossed. Let me get into that account. I created I went long this on November 23rd, 2011. This is the return right now in a cash account, no margins, just going long the XIV. You have 334 and 15 months and a couple weeks, basically is what that is. Now, OptionView didn't offer these tools November 23rd. We actually didn't offer them until April 17th, which is why I created this other one. Okay, you look at my T-log here, buy 800 at 11:17 on April 17th. This is when the tools came out. So if you actually bought this system, started trading at April 17th, this is where you'd be right now. Not even a year yet. Okay, so it's up 96% in the cash account, no margins, just going long the ETN here. And the returns for the ETFs are dead on equivalent as well. Okay. Now what we have going on here is we have, that's basically the indicator. Let me look at the price chart again for you there. This is the VX diff. What we're looking at here and what we're charting here is the difference between the price of the front month VIX futures option and the second month. There's a daily roll effect, which means you're getting a couple cents. Varies, the higher it is, means you're getting more on the daily roll effect. So what happens is the front month, these ETN managers have to maintain a position in the futures that mirrors a rolling contract. So you have to have every day, say the month starts off, you have 30 of the front month. Now you go one day into that, the next day, the second of the month, you have to sell one of those contracts in order to buy a next month contract, and you're getting that at you're selling it for a premium. You're being able to buy it at a discount. So basically, what you're doing is you're adding to the fund, and that's what's called the daily roll effect. Right now, the daily roll effect is on the XIV. Whoops, on the XIV is, and we have XIV daily roll effect is showing here as 7 cents. Okay, we'll go back to the price chart again, and that's right. Don't want to look at that one. I want to look at the XIV. Okay, so of course it's higher when it's here, and it's lower when it's down at these points here. Okay, so that's kind of one of the benefits right there, is that you've constantly got this positive effect happening as long as there's that relationship. Now, when that relationship inverses to where the front month is less expensive than the back month, that's when things start to cross. That's when it's time to get long, get out of the XIV, sell that position, and jump over to the VXX, which hasn't happened, of course, since the crossover for this one. When you would go long, the VXX was back in, looks like August 5th, 2011. And these periods of time happen a lot shorter. August to November, you would have been long that, then cross back over and go on XIV, and that's where we've been ever since here. Okay. We have different, so this is the fair value of the XIV. We have the fair value. You can chart these if you wanted to. Daily roll effect, you can see it's negative. It's the opposite here. Of course, for the VXX versus the XIV, the daily roll effect there. A lot of different volatility numbers, products in here that we look at all the time. But that's the gist of the system and how it works. We've included the LVI in here as well, which is Steve's Lentz's baby here. And basically, you know, he's kind of trying to he tried to create a precursor to a really big increase in volatility. Something's going to happen, things like that. And as you can see, right before this big dip, we had some big warning signs coming here. And if you look in this chart, let's scroll back a little bit. I mean, as we were coming up here, I mean, even a day before this happened, you had no other this indicator, nothing else, came close to looking at. So it's kind of a precursor, maybe a warning sign to look at. That's kind of why we threw the lens volatility indicator along with this one. Okay, and in order to set that up, even if you have a trial, you're going to go click on the price tag here, and you want to make sure you click on this, type in 15. Then click on the moving average of type in sign VXDIF and 15 periods. Then hit OK. Now other people are trading this and using it as an indicator as well. Some people, Steve Lentz has even created a credit spread system to trade the ETFs equivalents using this indicator as well. It's called VXX Credit Spread System. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see that presentation that Steve Lentz did about that system. It's gotten some really good returns. I'm going to pause for a second and see what kind of questions are out there. John, I am recording this presentation. Everybody, I always record these. We try our best to record all of them at least. Sometimes there's an error. But and then they're posted on Facebook. We're creating an archive in this format, so it's easier to read. I know my YouTube channel does not like these presentations that much. Sometimes they're hard to read when I upload them there. But it'll be on YouTube by tomorrow afternoon. I always try to get them out at least by the next day afternoon. And then someone's asking me about where do we find the description of the parameter choices. Okay, that's a good question. I have Chrome installed. Chrome does not like our help online support system. So I'm going to go to Internet Explorer real quick to show you guys this. And so let me go to OptionView. Okay, you would go to support. This is a great place for information. We're actually revamping this. Disregard all this OptionView 6 stuff here. Jeremy here in the office is in the process of totally revamping this, updating it, things like that. But in the meantime, until that's done, we can go to search up here. I don't want to highlight. I want to look at matrix parameter. Okay, here we go. First column parameters. This is what they mean. Okay, fourth column parameters. I want to find out the other parameters. Where are they at? Parameter description. This is a good one. Yeah, this is good. This will tell you what you're looking for right here as well. Projecting the underline. This is, you'll find all the information and a lot more you didn't ask for if you come to this here and start typing in matrix or parameters or spread window, expand window, things like that. But basically, where I found that was again is under support online help system. It's basically like our gigantic user guide without having to read through the whole thing. It's kind of do search topic or look through the index right away and click on things. Okay, getting out of Explorer here. Let's pull up my option view again. Let's see, we've got about 45 minutes now. See what kind of other questions you all have out there. I know I really didn't get into the graphic analysis or anything like that because I can go on and on and on about all these things, but I kind of want to focus on certain things. But I hope that helped with the the BXX tools, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on that. A lot of people are enjoying it. It's just on a tear. I mean, it's done great. I am going to see what other questions you guys have. Okay, what else can I show you in OptionView real quick here? Let's do one other thing. Let's look at this info button. Okay, very important when you're starting off. A lot of people that get OptionView right away, they want to backtest. We have an awesome backtesting feature. We've saved data going back to January 2001, any half an hour, any equity index, commodity, future, and any other options that are U.S. exchanges traded. We've saved all those, even if going back to the pit traded symbols. So you can backtest stuff like crazy in OptionView, and to do that, you're going to go into NetView, and you're going to go into BackTrader mode. And this is where you're going to keep this window open the entire time you're backtesting. It actually creates a time machine where OptionView will go back to that date. You'll be able to use any of these features except OpScan. You can use Trade Finder. You can use Survey. You can go back in time, look at the survey results, and test out what I was telling you would work or how it would work. And then you can see the results and step through time and see how it would have really played out. So OptionView, like I said, you can turn back the clock, use it as a time machine, and test out everything. So that way you don't have to wait real time and question the results that OptionView is giving you. You can go back and test them. Okay. Before you would want to go and backtest something, if you were going to do a backtest strategy, what you would do is you would go to this info button. Okay. These are all the accounts I have set up or things I've looked at with other people. You can create a new account. Call it whatever you want. Don't check off any of these. Hit OK. When do you want this account to start? When do you want your backtest to start? I want to start it back in February 15, 2005. And I want to start off with $15,000 and just see what this strategy would have done with $15,000. Okay, I have started it now, and now I'm automatically in that account. And now you can check these things off. Do you, as you're backtesting, do you want your gain loss to include previously realized gain loss? That'll show up in your graph if you have that checked off as you're doing a campaign. You can set up your options commissions schedule in your stock schedule, whatever commissions you're paying there if you want to. Okay, if you don't want the slippage or commissions to be included in the valuations that you're looking at, you can check these on or off. Hit OK, then I would then go into NetView, I'll go into BackTrader, 2:15 to 05, and I don't want to start at 15:30, I want to start a little bit earlier in the day. These S's move you in a half an hour in either direction. The D's move you a day in either direction. When I hit start, it happens to be a Tuesday back on that day, and now watch all my prices change as we are now looking at Tuesday, February 15, 2005. Okay, Intel was trading at 24.50. I can go and do an Intel option matrix here. Now I'm not trading here because it's probably fairly new, but you can go ahead and put a trade on here. Okay, you can analyze it. I must have a target for some reason. I don't want a target. Okay, show you break-even line. Okay, now I'm going to convert this. When I convert, now I have this trade on. You cannot just put something in the trade field, step through time, and expect to see some kind of result because you haven't actually created a transaction of this. By hitting the convert trade button, I moved it from the trade field over the existing position field, and now in my T log, my transaction log, you can see that on 2:15 I bought this Intel, which is the symbology back then, at this price. Okay, now I can move forward in time by half an hour, by a day. Let's just move a couple weeks out and see where it would have been, or a week out. Now I'm into March. Okay, looks like it's really hasn't done very much. Analyze it. I'm just a little bit underwater here. I want to go ahead and do that. Let's just go out another week. And this is how you do this. Now you would take this position off, and if you wanted to put another spread on, or if you're just going long, you want to do condors, butterflies, anything you want to do. This trade isn't really doing anything for me. I'm going to put the opposite trade in, hit convert trade. It's gone now. My T-log shows me that I bought it and sold it back. Now I can go ahead and now let's say maybe I want to do the same thing, but a month out, convert the trade, move out in time. That's how you start creating a record of how your strategy is done. I know it's very simplistic explanation, but that should give you the gist of what you need to do. And the more you do it, the faster you're going to get at it. So you can go through here, say you had a strategy for Intel and you tested it for a year. You can now go ahead and go back and say, okay, what if I took profits at 15% instead of 10%, or I let this go 5 days to expiration instead of 10 days to expiration, and test out how that would have done for you. That's kind of how you can fine tune your discipline, your strategies, the rules that you're going to try to create a campaign or trade by. I don't like any, I want to go back, I don't like these. I can just go ahead, go here, delete, 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 whoops, delete, delete. Like I never even did those trades. Click, yes. Now I'm back to real time, and it's like I didn't even do that little back test there. So I quickly showed you guys how to back test too. See if there's any questions. If not, I'm going to let you guys go. Does BackTrader work with weeklies too? Yeah, absolutely. I back tested some weeklies strategies back actually it was like almost a year ago that I did that. When Apple weeklies first came out, I was anxious to everyone was anxious to trade them. So I actually in April, end of March, beginning of April last year, I did a back test. Let me show you that real quick. I did a back test of weeklies. I was just thinking, let me just do debit spreads and the puts. I'm going to go use Trade Finder every day. Every day on this day, I'm going to use Trade Finder and see how it debits the best debit spread return it would give me. Either take it off if it's moving against me or let it expire. And where is it at? It says vertical Apple weekly credit spread. Here it is. Okay. So once you've done a back test, okay, you can come in here. I can look at my reports. Now I did this, what's the date here? December 2011, is that right? No, I want to go back further than that. I want to do March 2011. 3/1, 2011. Doesn't matter because I haven't done anything in this. But you can see this is my gain loss doing this trade every single week. I'm only in it for a day. The 10th, getting out the 11th, 17th, the 18th. I did this every week throughout the course of this trading strategy. Every week I did this. It just took me probably about 45 minutes to do this, maybe an hour and 15, right in that range, to do a trade every. So 52 different trades to back test. It's my performance graph, my analysis. It creates nice reports like this. So this was your net profit, total gain, total losses, um, number of winning trades, number of losing trades. 67%, not a great percentage winner, but I mean it looks like the average winner, um, the higher number of winners outweighed the losers. Of course, that's what you're trying to do. You'd like to see these percent winners, and of course the 70s, 80s is a realistic good strategy to go after. I only did this once. I did not go back and change anything. So just to give you an idea of how I could have gone back and fine-tuned this um, strategy myself. But as you can see, my max drawdown was that much. That's terrible. But the return turned out to good, and the annualized return was nice. So, but like I said, I just wanted to create some history and to demonstrate to people um, how the power of OptionVue's backtesting capabilities. One last check for questions. Okay, so if there's not any other questions, I thank you guys for being here. I didn't look at the schedule, so I can't tell you who's going to be here next week, but I guarantee you it'll be as good as this, if not better. Always someone else asking a question, that's fine. Like I said again, I'll have this up on my YouTube channel. If not this evening, I'll have it up there tomorrow morning. Um, you can always check us out on Facebook. We're always putting things out there. my YouTube channel. And then if you don't have a trial now and would like one, I'm happy to spend the time. That's what I'm here for. Karen here, if you're on the West Coast, she's your product consultant. But we're here to do personalized walkthroughs. I mean, OptionView is all about helping you guys get an edge in your trading, and that's what we're here to help you do. We've been around over 30 years now. I think it's over 32 years actually. So we're always advancing upon OptionView, always looking for feedback from our customers in order to make OptionView better, adding features, things like that. So any questions, you can email me at james.hogan. Let me type that in here real quick, actually. It's my email address there. You can email me anytime. Um, now, OptionView will only, someone's asking about the broker quotes. You can get broker quotes now through interactive brokers, not with Thinkorswim. There's something going on there. We had it working for a little while, but unfortunately it's not now. So only interactive brokers can sync up OptionView to receive those quotes. But no, it goes to, BackTrader uses a separate server where we're taking snapshots every half an hour and loading that into our server. So no, you will have to use our BackTrader. Okay. But thanks again for coming, and this will be up on YouTube, and you all take care. Thanks again.